Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm Megan DiMartino, and this is the fourth day of the Propel Your Business and Life 5-Day Challenge. You've made it. You're in the fourth day with me, and this is one of my most favorite days of the 5 C's: clarity, courage, confidence, commitment, and compassion. And it's commitment. Commitment. So let's review. You must trust in the process. The process leads you to the next step. You must begin. It is that clarity. Starting with clarity and owning and knowing that this is what you are going to do will help you get to that next step, which is building that courage muscle. Without courage, you cannot attain confidence, that unwavering confidence, knowing that this is what you're going to do. But again, I repeat, it goes back to clarity. Nothing will begin with clarity, but clarity leads to power. It does. It's that clarity, knowingness. It's that knowers know, the knower. But then you have to build that courage. But without stepping out, you won't ever build that courage. You will just be a wishing and a hoping. It's staying in that procrastination space. Why do you not take those steps? Why? Is it fear of failure? Is it fear of success? That is one of those big ones. It's like, oh my gosh, really, am I capable of doing that? But it's again that fear. Fear is an emotion. It is an emotion, mind, will, and emotion. And you must control those emotions, capture those emotions, and that fear will dissipate. But you have to be cognizant and clear about what is holding you back. Is it, as I said, is it those doubts? Is those voices in the back of your head or in the front of your face? People saying to you, oh, you don't know this, you're not prepared for this, you don't have the money for that, why would you leave your job? Why did I? Ba-doo. You know, all of those things. But if you have that burning desire, you will step out. But you have to be clear on what that is. So it is clarity, taking that first step. But that first step must happen. And with that first step, the second and third step will be revealed to you. Martin Luther King speaks about how it's that ladder, taking that first step in the rung of the ladder, and the rest will be revealed to you. But you must take that first step, that clarity, and then building that courage. But that courage is built. I said, wow, I can do this. Oh, wow, yes. Wow, this is fun. Yes, I'm excited about this. And oh, goodness gracious, what, that challenge. But if you're clear on it, you will move to the next step and the next step, or the rung of the ladder, as Martin Luther King spoke about. You will take that first step, and then the second and third step will be revealed to you. And then you gain that confidence through that. As we spoke about yesterday, no matter what, as you have built that, gained that clarity, what you're going to do, and build that courage muscle, then that confidence will help you then continue going on, even through, because you have, as my friend Angeline Moore says, you have the receipts, you have the information, that's why people who are stepping out and saying, I'm a coach, but they haven't had any experience in what they're doing, is something that it's great that they're doing. Don't misunderstand. I applaud everyone for having their dreams, goals, and desires and taking that first step. I truly do. But they will learn from, and this is the point of the point, they will learn from that experience. They're not a seasoned or experienced coach or mentor or consultant because they don't have the receipts, they don't have the experience. They have the desire, but they don't have the experience. But bravo that they've taken that first step. But that's not somebody at this point you should be working with. You should be working with someone who has the experience that can help you take that first step, gain that clarity, take that first step, build that courage, understand it clearly, that you will not unwaver and you will not abort your mission, because that's what happens When you procrastinate, when you waver, you just abort that mission that God has given you. Because if you know as you know as you know, you will not stop. You will continue on. So it is in that courage and then that confidence. And in that confidence, you have, like Wonder Woman, you have built that experience. You built, that confidence through experience. And you know as you know that you will get through this, because that's the other thing that experience gives you. Taking that first step and the second and third step being revealed to you as you just meander through. As my girl Sarah Blakely from Spank said, I just love Sarah Blakely. She said, start small, dream big, and scale fast. And what she's really saying there is the same thing. Start small, meaning with that clarity, keep dreaming, doing it, taking that second and third step, dream big, but scale fast. She means get out, do it. She sold fax machines back in the day when there were fax machines. But it was her training ground to gaining all that rejection. She was, I think, selling Xerox copiers as well, but regardless, those types of business machines. So she was going into offices and people were like, no, I'm not interested. But deep in the heart of Sarah, she had this idea, and it all begins with an idea, meaning that clarity piece starts with an idea. And Sarah had this idea of doing a shaper under her pants, but not having like stockings or hose back in the day, meaning the feet, because it was hot, she was in Atlanta. So she cut the feet off and put them under her white pants, and you couldn't see them. But it gave her confidence that, it held her in, so to speak, and gave her professional confidence to help go into those offices and sell those machines. And so as she was doing that, she didn't have the finances. She didn't have she never manufactured anything, but she had built that muscle. And then she took this prototype of what became the first Spanx and took it to some buyers at department stores locally and tested the waters. So start small, dream big, and scale fast. Get out there. Take that first step. The second and third step will be revealed to you. But you have to have that clarity, that vision, that mission, that passion, and take action. So the essence of commitment is that you've built this muscle. You have this confidence. You have this knower. Because truth of the matter, take this to the bank. You can't have commitment to whatever you're doing if you haven't had that dream, that goal, that desire. These 4 days, and ultimately 5, will be building upon themselves. That's why I say trust in the process. Because the thing about this process is one without the other does not work. It's a house of cards. It falls. So if I had not just, recap me, if I hadn't had the understanding of my passion, which was my creative, that I was going to create something, then I would not have gone on. I thought it was going to be fashion. That didn't happen. Various reasons. You can read about it in my book, listen to the first day. You can get the VIP that will give you all of these days, these rich trainings. It's not too late. It's never too early or too late. So get that VIP. But if I had not had that vision to create, I would not have continued on. But I had that vision of creating. And so when things, the road, because there's I saw this diagram about success and it went like this, because it is that. It's all that one step leads to the next step, at the step. But I knew as I knew I was going to create. So my skincare lines, Glycolate, my first line that I launched in 92, built it, sold it, ran it contractually, then started Novitas Spa Clinicals in 97. And then I still own Novitas. You can buy it today on novitasspa.com. I would love you to. Try the Miracle Experience Kit, a 2-week, 3-week try me of the Facial Essential System. Thousands and thousands of people have used this product over the years. Hundreds and hundreds of people continue to use these that have used them since the inception of some, even back to glycolic. But I wouldn't be standing here talking to you about the 5 C's and the Propel Your Business and Life Activation program that I'm going to work with you with to help you start, scale, and sustain your business if I had not been clear on my burning desire to create. And so when the road less traveled, meandered through and left me on the bus stop of the wholesale beauty industry in national sales and marketing, I then, I don't want to say pivoted, but I was guided to another arena. And in that arena, it was a good 5 years of working with my first company that I started getting crystallized knowledge, knowing that I was going to design a skincare brand. But I didn't have the background of knowledge to just jump out and do it. And nobody was doing it in those days, very different than today. There was no Dr. Google, there was no internet, there was no websites. So where to get information? From the horse's mouth. So when I was recruited with Alcon Laboratories in Fort Worth, Texas, even though it's like, whoa, going to the dark side of the moon with this New York girl, but I knew that I needed to gain that information. So I moved to Texas to hang out, as I say, with very sophisticated chemists that basically guided me. Didn't know what they had no idea what I was doing when I went after hours and sat with them and asked them questions. They just knew I was interested. And I was developing with my division a hair care line. So they perceived, and rightfully so, that I was getting that information for that, and I was. But I was also writing notes and asking them indirect questions about, ingredients for skincare and the skin. So with that said, I was gaining that information, that clarity, building that foundation to then take that step and ultimately leave my job. I did. And then put together what became Glycolic and launched it in the summer of 1992. But the point of sharing this is basically that clarity piece. Knowing as I know that I was a creative. You need to know what your passion is. As I said yesterday, I'm not an accountant. I'm not an IT person, clearly. But I surround myself with people that can enhance me, that can enhance my vision and mission. So you must surround yourself with people that can do that. And then taking that step, building that, gaining that confidence. So with that, I knew with my previous experiences, and even before entering the wholesale beauty industry and national sales and marketing in '82, in the '70s, I was working in the fashion industry, and then I also sold Tupperware, and I was a Tupperware manager. I'll share that a teeny bit today. But all of these experiences crystallized all of this. So when we work together, this is what we will do. We will take what you have done and put that together, and you will begin to see with clarity what really your first step will be. You will see that. And then as we work together, that second and third step will be revealed to you. Gaining courage, building that confidence that no matter what, you will commit to it. So that leads us to today, commitment. I was preparing for this, and I was thinking about what did I really want to share with you about commitment. There's so much, as I said in the intro. This is my favorite because this is the sustain muscle. This is the sustain dynamic. This is the sustaining your business, because again, if you have an idea, everything starts with an idea. And if you gain clarity on that idea, step forth, start building that courage muscle, gaining confidence. If and I've seen this time and time again, if a person comes to a stumbling block, they abort the mission. They say, it's too hard. My kid, is now getting into soccer. My husband's now traveling in business. All a myriad of things, and they abort the mission. Well, I'll pick it up later. I'll do it later. Later, maybe, but 9 times out of 10, later doesn't come. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. God's gift to us is today. That's why they call it the present. That's what, and with that idea, at one of the things that Napoleon Hill says, and we're going to spend some time with Napoleon Hill today, is that you must write it down. That goes back to the Old Testament when God took Moses up onto the mountain and said, write these down on tablets. You must write things down. There's that impression. It has been documented. It is that seeing it. Again, it's not just in the mind's eye, but then you take it onto paper, onto tablets. There's no accidents that the first Apple tablet was created, that you wrote it down in those notes, right? That little yellow bar there with the notes, and write it down and keep track of it. I have journals from years and years and years and years. And I go back, I'll pull them out and I'll go back. And what's interesting about them is that the road may have, from a timeline, may have changed, but ultimately what my dreams, goals, and aspirations have been, I have been attaining them. Now things have come in and altered. Now, did I know in 2017 I was going to add to regenerative stem cell to the Novitas Spa and Medical Rejuvenation Clinic in 19? Did I know that? No. But I had a medical component already established in my business, my luxury days and medical spa. I had the foundation. But when I injured my left knee for the last time and opted not to have surgery, a knee replacement, but had regenerative stem cell and had such an amazing response. And people then saw that I didn't have surgery, but had seen that I was struggling and asked what I was doing or did to get that relief and healing, if you want to use that word. And I said, well, I had regenerative stem cell. Can I have that too? I heard it again and again. So I did the research of seeing if I could bring it into my business. But I had the foundation set. I had a medical director. I had the proper insurance. I had nurses on staff. I had the foundation of it. So did I know that? No. So that's that. But today, that is a foundation of my next step. My next step. And it is what I'm to do through prayer and meditation. In 21 to 22, early 22, I asked God, what is my next step? I was already doing the regenerative stem cell. We were doing that. Even though I had sold the asset purchase of the large 4,000 square feet, very established spa here in the Austin market, but it was an asset purchase. I didn't sell the trade name Novitas Spa, which is federally trademarked. I didn't sell the URL, the websites that I've had since 97, novitasspa.com. I didn't sell the product line, Novitas Spa Clinical Products, which you can purchase on that website on the shopping cart. I didn't sell that. And I didn't sell the relationship I had with the company that I work with doing stem cell regenerative therapy, i.e. Education, training, and purchasing the product itself, the biologics themselves. So I had that foundation there. So I just was using a friend's clinic, but it was cumbersome. I could only be there when they were there. So I went into prayer and said, Lord, is this what you want me to do? If you want me to do this, show me the way. So you have to, it's like working with a mentor, consultant. You have to consult the great I am. And our Father, my Father, who art in heaven, hello, Hallowed be thy name. Jehovah Jireh, my provider. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. God will guide you. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Thine is the power and glory forever and ever. Amen. If you break that down, you're asking God for guidance of what you should do, when you should do it, how you should do it. He will guide you. Jeremiah 29:11. He knows. He knows. He knows the road. He knows it. We have to get out of our own way and commit, though, to what you're doing. But I share these anecdotal points because it's that vision, that mission, that dream, goal, desire. All of those are important. We've broken those down in the subsequent days, and we will delve into those deeply in the program. And you can purchase these days. If you've missed these days, you can go back and purchase the VIP, and you will get the recordings for all of these days and these mini workbooks, if you want to call them, just your daily assignment, as I'm calling them. And if you do join the VIP, you will get the first video and workbook for the START module of the Propel Your Business and Life Activation Program. We'll talk about that later. But there's a lot of things, a lot of tangible foundational things that you will get investing $97 in the VIP. So today, sign up for that VIP, and you will get all of these recordings and these daily assignments, which are so, so important in building that foundation. Because again, what I just said about the next step of it's called Novita Beauty and Regenerative Wellness, my brick and mortar, which we opened last fall. I found it in February, March of 22. God just revealed it. Whole story. Did share it in one of these days, that story. I'm not going to repeat it. Go back and listen. But basically, God guided me to this exact building. Not just the idea. I already had the idea. I already had the foundation. It was the guidance and the confirmation saying, yes, keep going. Keep doing this. I want you to do this. Because that's my field of favor. I am not just a researcher of sorts and a designer and a creator, absolute, but an educator and a trainer and a mentor and help others build. But I also, that is my purpose, is to help you identify your dreams, goals, and desires and actualize them. That's my purpose. But my passion is creative. But my heart's desire is to help people. And that could be, a client who has dehydrated skin, large pores, acneic skin, rosacea, aging skin, lax skin, a myriad of things. We say the Novita products are for anyone. By the way, Novita means new birth, new life, always something new. That's my promise. That's my promise. Forever and a day is to help you meander through the journey of life, of your business and your life. As I say, if you don't have your life congruent with your business, you just have created another job. You might as well stay in your job and have a secure paycheck if you are not clear that this is what you want to do, ready to build that courage muscle, gain that confidence, and never stop. That commitment. So I want to read to you. Now, I have been forever and a day. Let me just back up. As I said, there were no Dr. Google when I had made that decision to create a skincare brand, because the salon industry, I'm going to use that word because spa didn't exist in the late 80s or like 90, 91, didn't exist. But nail services were beginning, acrylic nails, and in the mid to latter 80s. So I could see that other services were going to come into this dynamic. Salons were beginning to call themselves full service salons, because then they started doing waxing. Now, the word spa was never even used but I could see that the next thing that was coming was skincare. Now I was now turning 40 and now in my early 40s, and I saw what I was looking for, and there were no products out there that were result oriented. I never trademarked that term, but that was my term. I was the first to use that because you saw a difference. And so I took that step, but I didn't have the information. So that's why, meaning I had that desire, that idea. And I then took the job with Alcon. And then over these years have been building these brands, and then started in 2004, talked about this in the subsequent days of how I started the Novitas Spa on the Square, then Medical Rejuvenation Clinic, and continue evolving it, because that is what happens, guys. It's that road. But you are clear on the structure. You're clear on your goals. You're clear on, meaning I was clear on my passion and I was clear on my purpose. So I basically continued on and started the next brick and mortar, even though the naysayers said, what, are you crazy? You just sold that large business. Why would you start again? But again, the Lord guided me because I needed this to set the foundation for the next step. And there are going to be other things that unfold to me. There are, because I can see it. I can see, having taken that step, other things will be revealed. And I shared some of this in, again, the subsequent days. Get the VIP. Get the VIP. You'll get all of these recordings, including tomorrow, as well as today, and the daily assignment. But take that step. Take that step. Get that VIP. So in my journey back to no Dr. Google, no websites, no internet, education through social media and the like, I listened to tapes, and I traveled in business all over the United States as I was working for companies, but also my own company. And two of my favorite people, three really, and really four, but Tony Robbins, when his cassettes came out, his programs, The Giant Within and so forth. That plastic cassette tape going into that a car rental, I was taking them with me all over. Then Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Zig Ziglar was one of my guys, as well as Jim Rohn. So those foundational, and Stephen Covey a bit later on, but really that foundational from Zig and Jim Rohn, who was Tony Robbins, one of his mentors, Tony Robbins, and of course, Napoleon Hill. So I want to read to you Napoleon Hill's, and I used to, I still do, but I have these memorized, but I didn't want to risk not saying them correctly. But Napoleon Hill's 12 the 12 things that constitute real riches. Those are his words, okay? 1, a positive mental attitude. 2, sound physical health. 3, harmony in human relations. 4, freedom from fear. 5, the hope of future achievements. 6, the capacity for applied faith. 7, willingness to share one's blessings with others. 8, to be engaged in a labor of love. 9, an open mind on all subjects towards all people. 10, complete self-discipline. 11, the wisdom with which to understand people. And 12, financial security. And I love how he says it. He says, and as you know, as you hear here, the last is financial security. His point is that, so I'm going to repeat, to achieve the real riches. Now, riches, it's a subjective term, as well as abundance. Meaning, like I'm going to just review some of these, or all of them, and repeat them. A positive mental attitude. Guys, if you do not, and I'm talking about from a clarity position to a courage position, a confidence position, and certainly commitment position. If you don't have a positive mental attitude, again, those two dynamics. I could bore you with even things from yesterday and this week and last week and ago and so forth and so on. I could bore you with things that have gone on and continue to go on that could abort the mission. Could, if I didn't have a daily positive mental attitude. That's why in the morning I start with prayer. I start with communing with my Father. I write down goals and gratitude in my goals and gratitude journal. I write down, and I've already had this, but I continue to look at my daily planner and maybe change some things around. So it is about building, though, that positive mental attitude. Because again, as I said subsequent days, but again a bit this morning about fear. Fear is an emotion, and an emotion is a mental creation. Now you can say, get behind me, Satan, or faith over fear, or, again, positive mental attitude, meaning, but it's a decision. It's a decision to say, I'm not going to give in to this. I'm just not going to give in to this, because guess what? If you look at things that have been difficult or challenging and you look back on them, they too shall pass. But you can use them as fuel to propel yourself forward. So it is about that positive mental attitude that will truly propel you forward. Truly propel you forward. Because people will be attracted to you. Positiveness begets positiveness. Negativeness begets negativeness. So meaning it's a spiraling dynamic. If you do not have a positive mental attitude and then you're going to, that day is just going to continue to spiral down into a cesspool of negativeness. But if you look at something in a positive fashion and listen, and I say throughout that listen, that still, quiet, small voice, it will be guiding you. It'll be guiding you to that next step or through that step. And the other reality of that is that negative things are going to happen. You know that. You know it. But it's a perception. Meaning, I personally, like I shared on Monday, and a teeny bit each day, I had a near real catastrophe brewing on Sunday. But I was driving and my air conditioner broke, but I'm not a mechanic, as I'm not an accountant and I'm not an IT person, so I'm certainly not a mechanic. So I didn't really understand the severity of when the air conditioner goes out, meaning the why of it. Why did it go out? Everything leads to the next. So what I've learned is that compressor and then the belt of tying all those together, tie everything together. Power steering, your brake, your engine, your battery. So I'm not going to go into the whole story, but my air conditioner broke or stopped working, and I was about 80 miles from my destination, and I was heading into a very rural area where there was no Wi-Fi, and I really could have been in a catastrophe. Really could have. It was 110 outside, and if my car had died, I would have had to walk 40 miles. I don't think so. But there was very, very unpopulated. I didn't see many cars go by. It could have been very, very dangerous and very, very problematic, to say the least. But I knew in my spirit that I couldn't stop. I had to keep going. I just knew it. I just knew it. I was praying. I was talking to God. I was worshiping Him. Someone shared with me about prayer, meaning God is seeking our praise. And that is basically saying that we are aligned with him. And I wasn't singing, I had no radio on, but I was praying, I was speaking to God. And that led me to know to keep going. And I got, still, when I saw this Castell General Store, I still was 14 miles from my destination. But here was this oasis. And then maybe 8 miles prior to that, my power steering went out. Mm-hmm. Yep. So I was holding onto the wheel steadfastly. And there was a parking lot to the left. General store was on that side of this road. And I was able to turn the wheel, it was very difficult, but I was able to maneuver the car into this parking lot, and I let it coast into a safe place for the car to rest or stay. Mind you, the windows were open, and the car died, just died. So I got out of the car, and I walked into the general store, and I didn't walk in saying, "Oh my God!" I mean, it was full of people. It was a Sunday afternoon. It was a little town. That's where they hung out. You could have a beer or I don't know if they had cocktails, but that you could certainly have a beer, because I saw people having beer, maybe a glass of wine, but they also had food. And then there were some light groceries. So it was a general store, but it was a hangout place. Now I could have walked in, made a big deal, "Oh my God," but I walked up to the bar, and the gal was behind the bar, and I said, could I use your phone? Because I had no Wi-Fi. Now, I ultimately hooked up my Wi-Fi to theirs, but I asked her if I could use her Wi-Fi. My phone was not dead. And so I was able to pull up my friend's phone number of who was at the ranch where I was heading to, and called her, and she came to pick me up. But I didn't make a big deal of it. Positive mental attitude. I laughed, I talked, I thanked, I was grateful. I was grateful for the air conditioning. I was grateful for the people. People then around me, they said, "Where are you going?" I said, "To Janice Jensen's ranch." They said, "Oh, we know Janice, we'll take you there." Meaning, so I could have gotten a ride. It was a positive mental attitude. But if I had walked in, "Oh my God," would they have questioned me? Maybe they would have been dubious about me, skeptical about me. They might not have reached out to help me. That positive mental attitude is so, so important to approach every day in every way that way. Sound physical health, that's another piece. I personally have been working on this for the last 2 years. I really did a self-audit a couple years ago and said, some things had to change. The first scroll of the 10 scrolls of Og Mandino's Greatest Salesman is to establish a new habit and create a new habit and make it a slave, or make it a slave to you, meaning that don't stop. Again, it's all about starting, but it's also about sorry, got a phone call. But it's all the same, guys, all the same. I did that self-audit, gained clarity on it, but had that burning desire to do it, because I knew, that in order to have the stamina and I don't even want to use the strength, but the health to go into this next decade healthily, I had to make some changes. Go to bed earlier. I'm a night owl. Don't need a lot of sleep, so getting up early is not a challenge as much as the balance of my health. So I had a commitment to myself. So I want you to look at these 12 steps. Napoleon calls them, as I said, what constitutes real riches. But if you read the whole book, I'm taking this out of context. If you read the whole book and leading up to this, it's like reading the Bible. What are the verses before and what are the verses after? What constitutes real riches? What he's saying in this, and had led up to this, is that it is not about one thing. It's about that synergy of this all, and this creates one big life, if you want to call it that way. You've heard that term. Your best possible life, all that synergy, that balance, that harmony of life together. So it's these 12 things. And he doesn't say, make billions of dollars. He says financial security is the 12th. And if you listen to his audio tape, he says, and the last, as you see, is financial security. So what he's really saying there is, without all of these other 11, you're not going to build financial security. Financial security builds upon itself. The word security also is a subjective word. Is it having X dollars in your checking account or savings account or 401k, or your company doing 7 figures? I have built 3 7-figure businesses, start, scale, and sustained 3 7-figure businesses, and have sold 2 of those. Now, I don't share that in this point about commitment to impress you. I say it to impress upon you. I didn't set out financial security. I didn't set out when I started that first business, Glycolique, and technically very undercapitalized. I thought I was capitalized, but again, that's in subsequent days that you can listen to. But when I started that, I didn't say that was not one of my 12 goals. It was about doing what made my heart sing. It was doing what my passion was. It was doing what my purpose was. My purpose had already been revealed to me. Already. I shared with you that I'll share my Tupperware background and management position and what that led to. But I just want to reiterate these, and then I'm going to tie it back to that. The 12 riches, the real riches that constitute real riches. And he uses that word riches, essentially with quotation marks around them. A positive mental attitude, sound physical health, harmony in human relations, freedom from fear, the hope of future achievements, the capacity for applied faith, willingness to share one's blessings with others, gratitude, to be engaged in a labor of love, loving what you do, as I just said. Be engaged in that labor of love, an open mind on all subjects towards all people, complete self-discipline. Now, that can be tricky, but again, that's building that muscle. I had to make that decision. I had to do the self-audit first, go back, see what needed to be changed, and then institute and small steps, those changes. Small steps. That's tomorrow. Compassion. Small steps. An open mind on all subjects towards all people. Complete self-discipline. The wisdom is an insight that comes forth. The wisdom with which to understand people. That is that great gift of wisdom in the Proverbs. Wisdom. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be given unto you. Wisdom with which to understand people, and financial security. So guys, in 1976, I had a child in the summer of 75. And prior to having this child, we had moved to Connecticut. And I had been working in Bloomingdale's in the buyer's buying office, and then subsequently in the program that they had brought in from London, putting the Biba line in the stores in the junior department. So I was very, very involved in that. I was trained in makeup artistry by the Biba team from London. It was very exciting, very fun. And I knew from that point, that was really the first place I gleaned the aha moment that I was going to create something like that. I didn't say skincare. It could have been cosmetics. It could have been glamour. I hadn't had this is only in the early 70s. So, I mean, I hadn't worked in the wholesale beauty industry yet. That hadn't even come to me. But I was in that arena, working in fashion merchandising and then in the cosmetic department, Lord & Taylor initially, and then Bloomingdale's in the buying office of cosmetics. And so I had that information given to me that this is what I was going to do. And so I put it in my heart, put it there in safekeeping, that someday I would create something. So fast forward, we moved to Connecticut. I have a child, but we only have one car. I can't get anywhere. I can't create a living. My husband worked about an hour plus away with IBM. So I was in a major challenge, but I always have kept a positive mental attitude. So I decided I was going to meet people in that town. I mean, I had to get off the couch, start meeting people. So I joined the Newcomers Club. And with that, I met other women. Through that, I started playing tennis. Through that, I only had one car, so my friend, Linda, down the street, had to pick me up. Met her through all of this. She drove me to the tennis courts. I'd pack up the playpen, bring my daughter. I had another older daughter as well. And so the kids came, and we went to the tennis court. One day I saw this group of ladies over there, and I walked over. I said, "What is this?" And the lady, and these old people I knew, she goes, "Oh, I sell Tupperware. You want to buy some?" And I said, "I don't know." And so I took the order form. I said, "What do you make doing this?" And she goes, "Oh, I'll have my manager call you." So it was a recruiting question. So this manager comes over to my home, starts telling me the whole pitch. And then she gets to the page on her flip chart that said managers get Ford LTD station wagons like the one in my driveway. And then she went on to the next page trying to close me. And I said, whoa. I'm not interested in selling plastic bowls, really not. I said, but I am interested in that car. So how do you get that? How do you become a manager? She looked at me like, "Oh, please." But I said, "No, really, I really would like to know that." She said, "Well, you become you buy your kit, you do consistent parties, and then you recruit 6 people, and they become your unit, and you become a manager." I said, "That's it?" I said, "I'll do this." And so I put together the whatever it was, 20, 40, whatever dollars, bought the kit, and started. From that moment, though, I started recruiting people. Yes, I set up parties, but I started recruiting people because I had a goal in mind. I was clear on the goal in mind. And within 6 months, I was a manager, and the megaphones was created. That was my unit, as they called it. I did that for 4 years, the latter part of the 70s. And I did that and learned so much about sales, marketing, building teams. And during that season is when God revealed, I wasn't that clear with it at that time, but it was revealed to me. And as time went on, I could see it. And the revelation was, this was not about me, wasn't really just about the car. That was a conveyance. And the money, certainly, I saved most of it. But the point is, what was revealed was that I was helping others identify their needs, whether it was helping to pay for the son's college. They wanted to take a trip, this, that, and the other thing that they had never done, an anniversary, big trip, so forth. I remember some of these points with the team that I built, their own financial needs, basically. But the bottom line was I was helping them identify their dreams, their goals, their desires, and actualize them. And so that purpose that I have been working with since 1976, the bicentennial of the country, 1976, that's a lot of years, guys. I think 47 or something of that nature. But the point of the point is I have been clear on my passion. I have been clear on my purpose. Sharon Lecter, one of my mentors, who wrote 3 Feet from Gold. If you've not read 3 Feet from Gold, that is one of our reading assignments in the Propel Business and Life Activation Program. But I'm not going to go into the whole story, but she has what she calls the success formula. So it is your passion plus talent times action times association plus faith equals your success. So just know that all of these tools, they are here for you, not just by myself. My journey has created the crystallization of all of this for you to help you see yourself in this, to see that you can, whether you're beginning a business or Sarah Blakely, who was selling copiers but saying this is not my burning desire, this is not what I want to do, I want to create. She and I have a lot in common from that position, meaning that she knew she wanted to create. She saw her need. There always needs to be that need from skincare. The baby boomer was turning 40. There was need in the salon for products that performed. But my claim to fame in all of that, just like in Tupperware, was to go into salons through the wholesale distributor who was selling the product, the wholesale beauty distributor, to go into salons and help them start doing skincare. There was no skincare being done. So meaning your clarity, courage, confidence, and commitment will help start, scale, and sustain the business and life of your dreams. So tomorrow is compassion. Compassion for you. And just know that it's never too early or too late to create the life of your dreams. And my friend Zig, basically, where is this? Oh, when there is hope in the future, when there is hope in tomorrow, there is power in today. So make it a great day and take this assignment and take the other assignments. They all build upon themselves, and take them out. If you haven't been here all these days, join us with the VIP. If you've been here all these days and haven't signed up for the VIP, sign up for the VIP. That will help you crystallize these 5 days. And then tomorrow I'll go more deeply into the actual program of the Propel Your Business and Life Activation Program. Angeline has up here how to purchase it, but when you pay for the VIP, you receive the first video, just the first video. It's 5 video. It's a 10-week program, start and scale. But you receive the first video and the first workbook, but you receive those with the VIP. So sign up for that VIP, and then let's get going. And tomorrow we'll go in depth about the program. But if you've loved this, if this has helped you to gain crystallization of that clarity, courage, confidence, and today commitment, burn those boats, as Napoleon said. If you know as you know, start, scale, and sustain. And I will be here tomorrow with you to help you gain grace for yourself. Be blessed.